Okay, so we are live. Man, that hangover hits hard, man. Especially when you go in and with a good mood here. So, anyways, let's okay. Here's some echo in the stream here. Let's shut this down for a moment. Let's mute my phone because I don't want my phone interrupting me. I don't want any unwanted messages to interrupt this. So, anyways, what's going on? Welcome to another live stream slash video. Today we're gonna talk about last night's truck race. Okay, so let me check here. Wait. Okay, let's copy the link and let's put it here on Twitter or X or whatever. I still call it Twitter. You guys already know what's up with that. So, okay, link and okay, where's the link here to put it here? Okay, there it is. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's begin the stream here. Truck race at Las Vegas. I am so happy. I'm such in a good mood today. And this is I haven't felt like this in a long time watching a truck race. That truck race was a vibe, nothing but positive vibes from start to finish. This is the first real race weekend of the season, not counting the super speedway races. So I was definitely looking forward to this race, a 1.5 mile track. Now that we got the super speedways out of the way, Daytona and Atlanta, we finally get to see some quote unquote real racing, in the sense of this is where the real drivers, and you start to see now the more of like who the real front runners are gonna be on the season. So for the truck race, again, this was a Friday night race. Rajah Caruth got his first career pole, and continuing with the Spire versus McAnally narrative that I said it last week is gonna be one of my main things that I'm gonna be watching for this truck season. Christian Eckes joined him in the front row, so once again you got a Spire car and a McAnally car on the front row. Then Stuart Friesen in third, the highest qualifying Toyota. Then Kyle Busch fourth, Tyler Ankrum fifth, again another Spire and a McAnally car. And speaking of Tyler Ankrum, he's had such a great start to the season. The fastest car in practice and puts a top 5 in qualifying. That was, again, shout out to Tyler Ankrum for such a great hot start on the season. Ty Majeski in 6 for ThorSport. Then Shane Smith in 7. His first start as a part-time truck driver now, running the 91 truck, the 4th McAnally part-time truck. Then Nick Sanchez, Daniel Dye, and Gren Empfinger, they rounded out the top 10. So you got, again, another McAnally car, or McAnally truck, in Daniel Dye. And Nick Sanchez, even though he is not a Spire, driving for Spire, he has Rev Racing in an alliance with Spire. So, again, if you want to count Nick Sanchez as part of Spire, you can. I personally don't, but due to his alliance with Spire, it's kind of like quasi-partnership. But yeah, Sanchez is basically running Spire equipment. So, anyways, moving back on the field, only 32 trucks on the field. Again, a very short field. Christopher Bell in 14th, only one of 3 Cup drivers with Kyle Busch and Shane Smith that dropped down to run this race. Connor Mosak in 18th, I believe this is his first start in the truck series, driving the 45 for Nice. Then Lane Briggs 21st. He's starting from the rear due to an unapproved adjustment again. Really rough start to that front row Motorsports 38. Corey Heim 25th, the third straight time he starts like deep in the field. Haven't seen Corey Heim starting the top 10 yet this season. Not that it matters anyways, because he had such a very fast truck, as we will discuss later on. Connor Jones 26, and like I said, Spencer Boyd 32nd, slowest car on the field, but only a 32 truck field. Anyways, stage 1. We got the action. Like I said, this race was action-packed from start to finish. Christian Eckes got the lead from Rajah on the very first lap, and as soon as he took the lead, we got a caution for a Bailey Curry crash off turn 2, and I was just like, here we go again. I thought this was going to be, because early cautions, they always kind of like set the tone for the race. When I saw Bailey Curry crash on like lap 2, shortly after Eckes took the lead, I was like, yeah, no, please don't do this. I have to be at a party soon. Because that's the thing. I was a bit worried that this race will go over time, way over time, because I was on a very tight schedule last night. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. This was the only caution we had until the stage break. So on the restart, Kyle Busch passed Eckes for the lead, and the battle was on between him and Rajah and Majeski, and also Friesen also joined in towards the end of the stage. That was some pretty awesome racing for just like a 20-lap green flag run. Eventually, everyone, Majeski, Rajah, Friesen, by Kyle Busch for the lead, and they settled the stage among themselves. Majeski in the end ended up winning, with Rajah second, Stuart Friesen third, Tyler Ankrum in fourth, Corey Heim, who started all the way back in 25th, biggest mover of the race, up to fifth. Christopher Bell in sixth, Taylor Gray in seventh. Kyle Busch, he slipped back after losing the lead. He finished 8th, and Grant Enfinger 9th, and Matt Crafton 10th. Christian Eckes, I didn't get to mention much about Eckes in that stage 1. He slipped back after losing the lead on the restart, just like Kyle Busch. So no stage points for him either. So we go to pit road. Everyone takes 4 tires. Rajah wins the race of pit road over Kyle Busch, and Majeski drops to 4th. Christopher Bell got a penalty for equipment interference, and Thad Moffitt also got penalized for men over the wall too soon. Stage 2 was more of the same. Rajah got a good restart, Kyle Busch, but then Kyle Busch just came right back on the outside a lap later to challenge him for the lead, as well as Corey Heim and Ty Majeski. Stage 2 was just all about those 4 guys. Rajah held them all off. However, until Majeski passed him with 10 to go in the stage, and he went on to also sweep the stage to win stage 2 as well. As Rajah and Corey Heim, they battled for second. So if you're counting at home, Ty Majeski already swept the stages as Heim prevailed over Rajah for second. Rajah had to settle for third. Taylor Gray passed Kyle Busch on the last lap of the stage to get 4th, sending Busch back to 5th. Nick Sanchez, Grant Enfinger, Zane Smith, Stuart Friesen, and Crafton, they all rounded out the top 10. And Christopher Bell, he only made it back to 16th following his penalty. He got restarted. I believe he restarted like 25th, 23rd, somewhere like that, which is a bit disappointing, but I mean, he only had so much to work with. 25-lap green flag run. Stages in the truck series are usually like very short, which I'm not a very big fan of, especially considering how chaotic this series can be when, especially with their cautions. Like, cautions breed cautions. Fortunately, that wasn't one of those cases, but again, you guys get my point. It was go to pit road. Kyle Busch this time, he wins the race of pit road over Taylor Gray, Ty Majeski, and Corey Heim. And Rajah Caruth, he got a slow stop. This dropped him down to 8th. He was down, but he was not quite out of it. A bit worried because, Rajah, he's not very experienced. When he has a fast car, but you know how it is with young drivers with fast cars. They usually don't really have much experience running in traffic because they're usually so used to running up front. They come from ARCA with where they have where they're just gifted with vastly superior cars that They just usually you see them running up front, which is why they don't get much experience. So I was a bit worried about Rajah, just staying there because when he was up front, he got clearly a top 5 car. But thankfully he made up the ground in stage 3. It looks like the power went down in my house. Yeah, if you guys hear that that little humming, that's the fan. That's the fan that's in my room. Yeah, I don't want to turn it off because otherwise I'm gonna otherwise I'm gonna get cooked. It's very hot in my room. That's all I'm trying to say. So we go to stage 3. Kyle Busch and Taylor Gray on the front row, and Taylor Gray gets split by Kyle Busch and Nick Sanchez on the restart. Sanchez makes a move. Sanchez restarted behind Taylor Gray, and he made a move on the backstretch to make it 3 wide on Taylor Gray and Kyle Busch. This causes Taylor Gray to get split on the restart, 3 wide, and loses a ton of spots. As a caution comes out for Dean Thompson getting loose off of turn 4 and just hitting the wall hard. That unfortunately, I don't know if it took him out of the race. I think it was a DNF. I think that was a DNF, by the way. But either way, his race was over. And then on the following restart, just like what happened with Taylor Gray on the last restart, Kyle Busch gets split 3 wide, this time by Ty Majeski and Grant Enfinger. Grant Enfinger, this time it was Enfinger who made the move on Kyle Busch to get 3 wide with Majeski to his outside. Enfinger lost, Kyle Busch loses spots because of being split 3 wide. Nick Sanchez is the big winner in all of this, though, moving up to second behind the 98. And it's at this point where the action just really got fun. Again, I wish I was paying more attention because, like I said, I was getting ready to go to a party. But because, holy shit, looking back and rewatching that race, that was some awesome racing, looking back on that. It all started with Nick Sanchez making a move on Ty Majeski for the lead. And then when entering turn 1, Rajah just sent it in to make it 3 wide. It didn't work. But the move caused Majeski to drift off the track, and it allowed for Sanchez to take the lead. And the move, it also brought Corey Heim and Taylor Gray to the fold. This made it a 5-stroke battle for the lead that eventually culminated with Corey Heim taking the lead from the 2. And then not long after, Majeski retook the lead for himself. This all happened in a 10-lap span too. And knowing NASCAR, it could have basically thrown a caution for someone hitting the wall. Like what happened with Matt Mills or Stuart Friesen throughout the run. But they kept it green to the end of the race, and gotta give credit to the drivers too. That was some clean racing. Of course, though, there were green flag pit stops, and with this long of a run, and that's where it all turned upside down. Like, there were green flag pit stops, yeah. In the end, they happened about 10 laps earlier than I expected too. Like, I know the broadcast booth was saying something like around 20 to go they should pit. I believe it was Daniel Dye who started the pit cycle. But it was with like 30 to go, and this eventually brought everyone down pit road. But yeah, we had green flag pit stops to end the race, and this race went green all the way. Thankfully, after that Dean Thompson crash, there were not any more cautions, so no overtimes, no gimmicks, just some good old truck racing with some green flag pit stop in between. And this is where the race got really weird, and not in the way you would think about it. Because, again, like I said, there were no cautions, but this race got really weird in the sense of this was the sloppiest sequence of green flag pit stops I had seen in a long time. I counted about 6 or 7 guys that were penalized for a myriad of issues. Kyle Busch, Nick Sanchez, Lane Riggs, Ty Majeski, Tanner Gray. I'm pretty sure I missed a few too. Probably Daniel Dye got penalized too. But again, Fox, they just did a piss poor job with their coverage on that part. And also, notice how most of these guys were top contenders too. Like Kyle Busch, Nick Sanchez, Ty Majeski. Corey Heim also had a very slow stop, like a 22-second stop. It's like these drivers and the pit crews, they just like they weren't used to running, to doing like green flag pit stops, because with how much chaos there usually is in the truck race, most of the pit sequences, they happen under yellow. Most of the pit stops most of the pit stops truck drivers do, they are under yellow during stage breaks and stuff like that. They aren't very used to running, to doing green flag stops under green. And that's why most of the sloppiness happens, or most of the, most of the mistakes happen. But even then, there was still a lot of surprises. Like Kyle Busch got penalized for, I believe he was for a safety violation. And then you saw Majeski, Nick Sanchez penalized for speeding on pit road. There were like a myriad of issues, like speeding on pit road, safety violations. There was also I believe one guy was also penalized for like a commitment line violation. That could have been Tanner Gray, now that I think about it. But when it was all said and done, like I said, all of these front runners, they had a lot of issues. The only guy of the front runners that didn't have any issues on their pit stop was Rajah Caruth. And because of that, a lot of people saying that he was gifted the win. But again, I was like, give credit where credit is due. Everyone was just running. Everyone was just having like this was a very sloppy pit sequence. Like, that's not on Rajah Caruth. Don't use that to discredit Rajah Caruth from, cycling back into the lead. More like, I would look more on the other guys, like saying, bro, how could you just give Rajah like a full lap to work with? So, like I said, Rajah Caruth, he just cycled back as the leader. Taylor Grain second. With Corey Hybe and Ankrum, they were distant, but they were also like slowly catching up. None of that mattered for Caruth though. He held them all off over the final 20 laps, opening up like a sizable 1.5 second gap over the other 3 trucks battling for second. And he cruised to his first career win. And just like that, and just days after the announcement that Hendrick Cars had decided to go all in on him and sponsor him for the whole season too, what a way to make a statement. I remember back in, 6 years ago when I was watching Rajah Caruth on iRacing. This was back in my college years when I was like getting into iRacing. Not in the sense that I wasn't driving on iRacing, but I was like following a lot of like iRacing leagues and the professional NASCAR iRacing series. Rajah Caruth was one of those guys that I was like getting to know a lot by driving with him, and he eventually got into late models. He basically has like the transition. His career path has been very similar to William Byron or Ty Majeski, that they went from iRacing over to NASCAR. Rajah Caruth just made the iRacing community proud, and not just the iRacing community proud. He made the entire NASCAR community proud, because this was just a feel-good win, and you could feel in the sentiment in the NASCAR industry, like everyone just celebrating Rajah Caruth. Bubba Wallace he was watching the race and he was so emotional. I believe his girlfriend posted the story on Instagram that of Bubba just reacting to the final few laps, watching his protege win the race. And again, this takes me back to the moment that they had at Daytona where Bubba told Rajah, you got to keep your head in the game, because Rajah made a mistake on that last lap of the race that ended up with him wrecking the whole field. Bubba took him aside and said, "Yo, don't do that." A lot of people were criticizing Bubba for that, but that was Bubba just giving him advice and allowing Rajah to keep his head in the game. And looks like it's paid off big time, considering where Rajah is right now, and considering he just won his first career race. You can say that we can all safely say that talk that Bubba gave Rajah at the end of the truck race at Daytona, it's paid off big time, because Rajah, he drove a very mature race, very level-headed. Rajah, he has a ton of potential, but he's always made like a lot of a few aggressive moves, and this was very prevalent, especially in his rookie season. There were races like Kansas, like one of the Kansas races where he made a mistake battling side by side with Majeski. I remember when he was like running top 5. Then also the race at Darlington as well. I believe he hit the wall in the closing moments of that race. But again, you get the point. Rajah has always been a guy with a lot of potential, but he always was like, also very aggressive, and that over-aggression can usually cost him. A bit like Bubba Wallace in his when he was in his Truck Series days. So um, he becomes the third African American driver to win a NASCAR race too, after Bubba Wallace and Wendell Scott was the first, and then Bubba Wallace back in 2013 when he won his first career truck race at Martinsville. It's also the first truck win for the number 71 since Donnie Leah in 2008 at Mansfield. And to make things even even crazier, adding to this craziness and all of this feel good story, Rajah Caruth won this race on Dave Marquez's birthday. Today is Dave Marquez's birthday, and if you don't know who Dave Marquez is, he is the guy that basically older NASCAR fans relate when the number 71 comes to mind. When the number 71, when you ask any NASCAR fan, any older NASCAR fan, the first driver that comes to mind when you hear the number 71, Dave Marquez. Like 9 out of 10 older fans almost every older NASCAR fan is gonna tell you Dave Marquez. So the fact that Rajah Caruth, driving the number 71, won on the day of Dave Marquez's birthday, that's honestly awesome. It was like written in the stars. It was just meant to be. And again, like I said, it was a very popular win in the NASCAR industry. No one hated it. Like, yeah, there was the random, there's the random Facebook boomer saying that driver diversity is bad for the sport, and that if it was a white driver, they wouldn't be getting this much coverage, blah, blah, blah. But other than that, it was all love for Rajah, which really goes to show a lot about Rajah's character. The guy has really worked so hard, from late models up to where he is right now. His family has also been very supportive of his dreams, and for him to finally achieve this, what this he is hopefully the first of many wins. Like he said on his Twitter after he won the race, it starts with one. That's all it takes. It starts with one win to open the floodgates. That monkey's finally off his back. He finally got his first career win. So more to come for Rajah, hopefully. Now that he knows how to win these races, the next couple of wins are gonna come pretty easy. This is gonna hopefully open the floodgates, because like I said, first career wins are always the hardest. And now that Rajah finally got that monkey off his back, this is gonna be it's gonna be smooth sailing for him, and hopefully this leads to him becoming a contender for the Truck Series, because I like Rajah a lot, and I would really like for him, especially like I said, Hendrick Cars, they just made the announcement a couple of days ago that they decided to expand, because originally when Rajah was announced to the 71, Hendrick Cars said that they were gonna sponsor him for like, I don't know how many races, half the season, 12, 14 races. This week they just made the announcement that they will be sponsoring him for the full season. And on the first race, like just days after the announcement, Rajah Caruth wins the pole and goes out to win the race. Again, this is just a great way to make a statement. And speaking of drive for diversity too, Nick Sanchez wins at Daytona, then Daniel Suarez wins at Atlanta in the Cup race, and then Rajah Caruth again in the truck race, he wins at Las Vegas. 3 drive for diversity graduates have won 3 weeks in a row. That's just awesome to watch. It really speaks volumes as to how far this program has gone, and how many talented drivers he has produced. Hopefully this isn't the end of it. It doesn't matter how many people hate it. Drive for diversity is here to stay. It's been like this for almost 20 years. This program is still running strong, and it's produced so many talented drivers. So anyways, other drivers that I would like to talk about, Tyler Ankrum, he finished second in this race. Great start for him on the season. Definitely one of the early surprises this year. I do believe he's still the points leader. It could be either him or Corey Heim. I haven't checked the point standings. Okay, actually, let me check the point standings right now, because it's been a few early surprises here. Let's see here. Let's check. I want to see the standings here. Okay, so Tyler Ankrum is leading the points by 5 points over Majeski and 7 over Corey Heim. Rajah's fourth. Yep. Yep, like I said, great start for him on the season. Definitely one of the early surprises of the season, for sure. Taylor Gray as well. He finished the race in fourth. Corey Heim finished third, by the way. Taylor Gray in fourth. Again, another one of those early surprises on the season. Christopher Bell finished fifth. He rebounded from a penalty back on his first pit stop to finish fifth. Then Christian Eckes sixth. He got a very quiet race after losing the lead on stage one. A very quiet race. Matt Crafton 7. Again, another quiet race. Zane Smith, a very, very uncommonly quiet race for him. I expected him to run top 5 at some point on the season, but unfortunately, I just didn't see much of him. A bit disappointing on that front, but Brandon Finger finished 9th, and Ty Majeski, unfortunately, the guy who dominated the first 2 stages, who was, in my opinion, the car to beat. Unfortunately, he got a penalty at the end of his green flag pit stop. He had a very fast car, though. He managed to rebound back to 10th, at the very least, so damage control, I guess. Anyways, as for other drivers that, other notable finishers, Brett Holmes finished 12th, Connor Jones in 14th, Kyle Busch and Nick Sanchez 15th and 17th respectively. Again, just like Majeski, they were hit with penalties on that last pit sequence. Stuart Friesen in 18th. Like I said earlier, he hit the wall and pitted under green during stage 3. This was during the time that we had like this 5-truck battle for the lead between Majeski, the Tricon trucks, Nick Sanchez, Rajah. Again, I'm so thankful NASCAR didn't throw the caution, because they could have very easily done that like they did with Dean Thompson. But again, Lane Riggs 22nd. He also got a penalty. He was also one of the many drivers that got a penalty on that last pit sequence. Daniel Dye finished 24th. I think it probably got penalized too. I could be wrong, but then again, NASCAR, the Fox booth, they just did a piss poor job at broadcasting. They just missed a lot of stuff. Ty Dillon finished 26th. He spent an extended time on pit road after stage 2 with a mechanical issue. Again, one of the early disappointments this season alongside Lane Riggs has been Ty Dillon. Clearly, this team is not the same after Matt DiBenedetto left them. Bailey Curry in 28th after causing that first caution. Dean Thompson 30th. Let me double check. I think he DNF'd, which if he did was pretty unfortunate. Let's see here. Oh no, he didn't DNF. He didn't DNF, but he finished like a lot of laps. He finished a couple of laps down, so pretty unfortunate there. Matt Mills 31st. He also hit the wall during stage 3. Again, like Stuart Friesen, he had to pit under green. And finally, Timmy Hill 32nd. He was the only DNF of the race. Now that I see here, he was the only guy who DNF'd due to an electrical issue. So overall, final thoughts on this race. This was a really good race. This truck race was just vibes, just positive vibes all around. And I'm not just saying that because the standards were low. This was legit a great truck race. It had a little bit of everything, like lead changes. I believe this truck race had like almost 20 lead changes too, when you count for the battles under green, the pit sequence under green. There were like 20 lead changes, I believe. I would be shocked if we didn't break that threshold. But anyways, comers and goers. We had a lot of comers and goers too. Not that much pit strategy, like not many drivers taking 2 tires or 4 tires, but there was a lot of clean action, long green flag runs, and an unexpected outcome. With those sloppy green flag pit stops. I thought Majeski or Corey Heim would have won that race, because those 2 guys, in my opinion, were better than Rajah Caruth in the long run. Like Rajah, he got a truck that could finish top 5, but not be the guy to beat. He could compete for the win if some things went his way. Unfortunately, they did. But yeah, the outcome still was a bit unexpected, but still would take it, because Rajah was in it all race long, with a guy who was in it all race long, but not quite a guy to beat. He took advantage of some late race misfortune from his competition to earn his first career win. Again, like I said, that talk that Bubba Wallace gave him after Daytona, it paid off too. It kept his head in the game. the track on Toyotas in particular, they look just like the JGR Cup cars did at Daytona and Atlanta. Like poor qualifying speed, fast on race day. You know, that's basically gonna be the story of Toyota all season long. Like, don't expect them, even if they qualify poor, you can expect them to show up on race day, especially Corey Heim. I feel like Corey Heim is getting a lot of a bad reputation. I know he has a bit of a bad reputation because of what happened with Hosebar at Phoenix, but the guy is a really good driver. Just like Christian Eckes is, in my opinion, the best driver for Chevrolet. Corey Heim is, in my opinion, the best driver for Toyota. And I don't think many people will push me back on that statement. But yeah, Corey Heim is still a damn good race car driver, and he's still showing us right now why he is a prospect that Toyota should keep in mind when moving him up through the ranks. That being said, my playoff predictions are about to age really poorly because some guys I didn't have making it in are having hot starts on the year, like Rajah Caruth won. He's already in the playoffs. Then you got Tyler Ankrum with that hot start. You also look at Taylor Gray. Taylor Gray, who I believe he has two top fives in the season, could have been 3, and he could have also won a Daytona if it wasn't because of Rajah Caruth. That last lap crash at Daytona. But Taylor Gray also having a great start to the season. Rajah won. Tyler Ankrum is leading the points. And let's see here. And then on the other hand, you got Ben Rhodes with a slow start to the season, a championship hangover if I've ever seen one. Ty Dillon, Lane Riggs in particular, he is 33rd in points. What is going on with Front Row Motorsports in the Truck Series, of course, because their Cup program is alright. It's the best it's ever been, but that Truck Series program, I know there's some talk that ever since ThorSport they switched back to Ford, and they've stayed in the Ford camp even after Hailie Deegan left. Even after ThorSport left, when returned to Ford, they have become like their new like flagship team for Ford, and that's to be expected because they are the bigger team. So of course you're gonna prioritize them more, but it's still pretty sad because Front Row Motorsports, when they were with St. Smith, they were competing for championships, making it to the championship 4, or at the very least, having a chance to making it to the championship 4. So it's honestly really sad that the team, while the Cup program is the best it's ever been, their Truck Series program is the worst it's ever been. So, a little bit sad on that front, but the Truck Series needs more races like this. Races that remind me why I used to look forward to them back in the day. The Fox broadcast still sucks, though. It needs an overhaul at this point. Just literally unacceptable. The fact that they are still doing front stretch interviews, both Fox and NBC, not a fan of that. But anyways, great start to the weekend. Great start to the weekend for sure. Let's see if the Xfinity race today can keep up the momentum. Right now, as this video is ending, as I'm wrapping it up, it's how many? Okay, it's an hour 15 minutes before the Xfinity race begins. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna wrap up this stream right now. Is there anything in chat? Are there any questions in chat that some people want me to answer? See here. Okay, no one in chat. Okay, so like I said, let's see if the Xfinity race can keep up the momentum, and I'm done. Peace out.